How much money am I going to make playing Sorare this month? Playing Sorare to make money using your favourite players from your favourite teams from around the world in fantasy football competition is most Sorare managers' name of the game. Their objective, their goal when they're building their club, formulating their teams for the weekend and setting their targets and objectives for the upcoming season. And for the video today, I thought I would lay out exactly how much money I'm going to try and make over the next 10 game weeks. Sorare is 5-a-side fantasy football and the game weeks run every 3 or 4 days. So when I say 10 game weeks, that's actually only the next 5 or 6 weeks, basically the bulk of September. No matter what colour of cards you play with, no matter what your budget, no matter what your objectives are, the way we structure our plan of attack in the video today is definitely going to be useful to any Sorare manager out there. If you're brand new to Sorare and you haven't even opened up your account yet, there's a link in the description in this video that will get you a free card once you've bought 5 cards from auction. It's the best way to sign up. It's the way everyone signs up. And if you open up a Sorare account and you've not clicked on that link, you're 1 card worse off than everyone else. The free cards you get, you can keep it, you can sell it, you can do whatever you want with it. And the 5 cards you need to buy from auctions, they can be 10 pence, they can be £10. It doesn't matter. By clicking on that link, you support me and all the content here at the channel, so I really do thank you in advance if you do that. If you get stuck, you've got any hiccups or any questions or whatever, just jump into the comment section and I'll come and sort you out at any point in the video. If you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers and we can't do that without your support, guys. Not only content like this, but we're doing much more stuff on top of that, and I hope you enjoy the stuff that's been going on the channel over the last couple of months and ahead of a big season ahead. And if you don't get stuck and need any help, feel free to jump into the comment section and let me know what your goals are for the next 10 game weeks. We're going to be looking at game weeks 401 to 411. There's a few different ways we can try and win money from playing Sorare fantasy football. Of course, if you get into the prize place pots, the top 100, the top 30, the top 10, the podium, in a lot of divisions, not all of them, but a lot of them, then there's sizable cash payouts for there. But trying to forecast, plan and predict and guarantee some sort of level of success to that level is very difficult. Sorare is a very competitive game with lots of really smart scouts and managers from all over the world formulating their 5-a-side teams from players from all corners of the earth, teams and players you've heard of and a bunch that you haven't. So when setting monetary goals, the number 1 division that every Sorare manager looks at, including myself, is the Cap 240 division. The way that division works is you need to fit a squad under a score of 240 points based on their current form. Over the last 15 games, the Sorare scoring matrix runs from 0 to 100, and that's how their average form is calculated. So if you think about that, 5 players, their average, their form over the last 15 games between 5 people has to be below 50 out of 100 essentially. So you don't get superstars in this division, you don't really get the Messis, the Mbappes, that kind of thing showing up in people's teams. This division is always comprised of those bargain basement, good value, points per pound players that, are right across the Sorare spectrum. And it is 5-a-side, so you can be quite creative with your different position selections as well as the different profiles of players. And because, again, you're looking for guys that have got a modest recent form, let's say, you're kind of backing your hunch a bit more on who you think is actually going to have a good game this week, who's actually going to overperform their recent form. In the super rare division for the blue cards, by that team hitting 250 points, Sorare are going to pay me out $200. For the exact same competition with the rare cards or the reds, it's $50. And for the exact same competition with the limited cards or the gold ones, the yellow ones, the cheapest ones, it's $5. Now, this division is available every single game week, but over the next 10 game weeks, how many times can I actually play? Can I actually enter these divisions? Is the first thing I need to think about before I can think about what sort of success rate and how much money could I actually be pulling out of the game. Now, something to note, throughout the next 10 game weeks, the format of this division is going to change. Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse, but it is going to change. So it's going to be really hard for me to set concrete goals this month that I can realistically plot and use, to track my success rate throughout the season because the stipulations are going to change soon. With all the cards at the moment, as you can see, when they're in this division, they just get their score. It doesn't matter what colour of card there is, it's just a 0% bonus. And if you're newish, that might confuse you a little bit, like, Quinny, what do you mean it's just their score? Of course it's just their score. They're playing football. Why does that matter? Every card on Sorare has extra bonus points available to it depending on the level of XP it is. Is it part of a wider collection? Is it a different scarcity? As you can see here, for some divisions where you're able to play blues and reds in the same division, there's a big score difference there. They get extra powers. They're basically like a captain bonus built into the card in that situation. And like you can see here, from super rare to unique, there's a bit of a card bonus difference again as well, of 40% built onto the card guaranteed before XP and all that kind of thing comes into it. Now, the card bonus itself, the big super powered one I just showed you there, isn't the one that's coming into effect, but it's every other one, as well as fitness, which is coming out later in this month. So that's a currently untapped, unknown element of the kind of strategy, as it were. So over the next 10 game weeks, what I've did is I've gone on to our good buddies at SorareData.com. Now, if you are playing Sorare and you've never been on SorareData.com, I can promise you, you're going to be very upset with yourself that you've not found this sooner. It's very widely promoted. I would be very surprised if you haven't came across it. But if you haven't, SorareData.com, you'll be able to find it easy peasy. This website has got every inch of data for Sorare you are going to need, from player statistics, projections, prices, historic pricing, blah, blah, blah. All sorts of stuff is in here. Now, this is the lineup builder page that you can find very easily from navigating through the website. And through the lineup builder, you can go all the way into the future to game week 420, which is the game week of the 31st of October to the 3rd of November. Now, I've not went that far ahead. Like I said, teasing the tip off of the video, we're only looking for game week 401 to 411, which is the bulk of September and what is left of August. Now, the reason I'm starting this now is because this coming game week, Scotland is in action, MLS is in action, and all of Europe. So it's the first time in the new season, 23-24, I have had full command of all my cards, which means I feel very motivated and confident that setting goals will bear some fruit this month, okay? So I've already done this. I'm not going to bore you through it by going through and trying to figure out exactly how many lineups I can do. Now, what I basically did is I went through all of these and just built the super rare teams, and then I went back through later and just had a look at rare goalkeeper availability, and I've done the quick maths for you all anyway. But as you can see, throughout the next 10 game weeks, I have a couple, I'll tell you how many in a second, of 20 cap 240 eligibility. I can enter a team, okay? But there's 3 game weeks here. Maybe that was a midweek, sorry, so it must be before that, maybe. But we do have an international period in September as well, and I think that is going to be the period where we are going to see a lot of the changes. That game week there, 405, 404, 406, that period is probably where we're going to get fitness, we're probably going to get the XP, all this stuff that's kind of in the offing, the 2D cards turning 3D. I think it's all going to happen in that international break. But over this next 11 weeks, I am able to enter the super rare division for cap 240 6 times, which out of 10 or 12 game weeks, depends how you think of it, 401, 411, 11 game weeks. Yeah, we're able to do it 6 times. So we're just over 50% availability to go into the tournaments, which is great. And at rare level, we're actually able to play it 7 times, which is fantastic. So out of the next 11 game weeks, we've got 6 attempts of super rare, which if we got all of them, would work in at $1,200 American dollars. And if we got all 7 of the rare thresholds, that would be $350 American dollars, which would combine, if we got all of them, to $1,550, which is incredible. Now, I'm going to set myself a success rate percentage goal, target, objective for this month of 50%. Now, we can do this, the rare entry 7 times. I'm going to go with 4 times out of 7. We'll round up on this one. And for the super rares, we can do it 3 times out of 6. Now, guys, this previous weekend, I missed out on it, okay? So this is where I'm cautious about being too confident, too excited, and saying, oh, I'll get 100%. Because I would like to think my card quality and my Sorare IQ, I can pick up a 240. I should, in theory, with the amount of games that are on, etc., be able to do it 100% of the time. But I know that's probably not going to happen. So the way football goes, guys get subbed off, injured, suspended, L15s will change. Maybe I can't compose the same teams as I'm jumping through lineup builder now, because their scores are going to change over that period of time. But as you can see here, it's very easy to just miss out. So I don't think I'm setting myself a terrible objective there of 50%. 3 out of the 6 super rare entries we get over the next 10 game weeks, starting this weekend, and 4 out of the 7 rares. I think we'll be doing well. If we clipped that, if we hit the 50% success rate, that would be a clean $800 flat, which is a nice kind of yield, return, win, however you want to think of it. Now, for this coming game week, I've still to build all my lineups, but the first thing I'm always going to do is just put out, because my gallery's got a lot of cards and stuff, these 3 teams here are the ones where it's I'm going after fixtures, I'm going after podiums, top 10s, top 30s, that kind of thing, which I don't include in that success rate thing. Ideally, if I can get 1 podium in that 11-week period, and I mean a real podium, like a big juicy one, not like a midweek and you get a tier 3 or something, like a real podium, then it'd be made up. But it's a really hard thing to go against, because as much as I can look at the good fixtures easy enough that I have available, it's quite hard to assess an entire game week 6 weeks away from now on a lot of different levels. But when it comes to 240 super rare, I think we're going to have it in the bag this week, and I feel really confident. We're going to have Lucas Skorupski away to Juventus. Again, you've seen the score he had against AC Milan in a 2-0 loss last week, 43. That's kind of fine. He does high 40s and 50s quite often, Skorupski. Juventus seem to be in good form, and the big man can do some AA. Pablo Maffeo will be my defender. I think I'll make my midfield Brais Mendes at 46. On set pieces away to Las Palmas. He's not been in great form so far this season. I'll take Matias Cunha up front. He's got very good AA and he's due a decisive. And I was so impressed with him this weekend. At only 40 points, I'm going to put in Yangel Herrera. Now, I want to say at this point, one thing that will trip up more Sorare managers than anything is that remaining balance and thinking, oh goody, let me go and take Pablo Maffeo and put in somebody more expensive, or let me go and take that really cheap guy and go get somebody more expensive. Honestly, forget the score. It's all about you just getting the best team you can in here. Forget you've got change and leftover, because that's just going to harm you. This is my cap 240 team for the weekend. Now, these cap divisions are not bad to prioritise, because if you can get in amongst the top 20 or so in the super rare one, on into that top 136 mark here in the rare division, then I think you're going to be on to a very good game week with the little bit of cash that you get, as well as a decent card to boot. The only time this division becomes a problem for me is when you get on the podium and you're only getting the 50 quid rather than a grand or 800 quid or whatever the podium pays out in All-Star. Rare, I'm going to go for a bunch of guys I think can all hopefully break just 60 this week. That would be lovely. Try and get over and above the score and hope we can seal it in. And unfortunately, I'm maybe a couple of bodies short from getting a wee cap 240 limited effort back out there. So we'll maybe see what we do over the coming weeks. But I'm not factoring that into the next 10 game weeks because, you know, relative to the gallery, it's not really much of a priority. Now, the goal is around that 50% mark, okay? The only other kind of thing that hasn't been factored into the goals and such for this week that might be an extra little Brucey bonus, which is the way generally I do feel about them, and that's midweeks. Champions League, Europa League group stages, Conference League group stages. None of these things have been drawn or determined who's involved yet entirely. And with a lot of the cards and a lot of the teams I've got, that's going to change, you know. So I'm looking at the moment of having 6 super rare entries and 7 rare entries over the next 10 game weeks. But if that was to increase by another 2 or 3 probably on each side, then we've got the room for, you know, Brucey bonuses. And if we were to smash our goal because of the extra midweeks, obviously that'd be lovely, but we'll obviously revisit that this time next month when we come back to look at how much money will we try and make over the next month and how much money did we make in the last month. We'll have a wee bit of that fun. Will be good fun for you guys as well. Do the same thing, follow along with the video and drop a comment down below, put a wee note on your phone, whatever, and we'll come back and we'll revisit all this stuff together. Good luck for this game week. I hope you absolutely smash it out of the park. On screen now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.